Y'all, the movie last night was so funny. It was it was soul nourishing. If you're looking for something to just get you thinking in a new way and give you some laughs and smiles, Ryan Reynolds is a master of that. And the contrast of Hugh Jackman's character, Wolverine, with Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds' character, it was just it was it was amazing. You have this very like stoic, serious, slightly disturbed Wolverine, and then you have this like completely feather ruffling, sarcastic, dirty minded Deadpool, and the contrast just made each character funnier. It was awesome. So highly recommend watching if you want to smile and laugh. Um, So today, day 30, week 5, I was sitting here praying about what to share, what was most present on my heart. And while there are so many things, the thing that I feel is most important right now that I've been told is a very fundamental spiritual 101 lesson, but is one of those lessons that builds a solid foundation that assists in your higher levels of development. And so, without it being there, you'll run across a lot of delays. Not that anything is on a timeline when it comes to spiritual growth and expansion. And also, when you don't have a solid foundation, you are wobbly without even knowing why. So, the concept is as you are waking up, as you are awakening, becoming more enlightened, becoming more aware of yourself and your actions and your impact on the world and your impact on others, as you are waking up, you often start to realize that those around you are very much so asleep, are very much so unaware, are reactionary instead of responding to life and others. And there's two layers to it. Firstly, you often will become lonely. You'll feel this, they don't get it, I don't get them, we can't relate, we can't converse. There's a sense of isolation. And again, usually this is more so towards the beginning, because as you get further and further down your journey, you'll find that you know where to gravitate towards. You know which rooms will expand you in a positive way and which situations and settings are a digression, are attached to maybe a past version of you. However, the principle still stands. When you are experiencing that loneliness, isolation, and you're recognizing the difference of where you were and where they might still be and where you are now. And so I like to describe it as you essentially become the sober person in the room full of drunk party people. But what you have to remember is so key to remember is that you can have compassion and empathy and understanding for them because you know what it's like to be there. You too were a drunk person in the room full of drunk people, and you're all on a similar frequency, and you are having your experiences at that level. And then when you begin to shift, you begin to recognize behaviors, you begin to learn more about yourself and move in the world in a more intentional, purposeful way, maybe at a higher frequency, letting more love in, more gratitude, more appreciation. Those are literally higher frequencies. It's not to say I'm better than or worse than. That's actually what I'm trying to remind you of. There is no such thing as there, I'm better than, I'm higher, you're lower. So all of these terms sort of create more and more division. And so if you're the sober person in the room full of drunk people, you have the deepest level of empathy and compassion. You know exactly where they're at and what that feels like. And you don't know until you know, is essentially what happens. And you too didn't used to know what you know now. And so you may find those drunk people in the party become your clients. They become um, people that you're able to actually help by sharing and generously loving. And that might be through literally sharing. and speaking and contemplating together, or being a role model and being an example in front of them, and then letting them say, wow, Christina just smiles all the time. She has this light about her. I need to ask her, like, what is that? Where is that coming from? What does she do every day that makes that happen? And then when you receive a question like that, which towards the beginning of my journey, even though I've been on this journey for a long time, when I really started actively, consciously decoding and rewiring, deconstructing my operating system, my mind, my behaviors, my habits, I began to hear from people like, "You're just so bright. You're so happy. Like, what? Something exciting must have happened to you today." And I'm like, "No, you'll see me tomorrow, and I'll be here, and see me yesterday, and I was here, and this is my MO, my mode of operating." And so when I'm not there, I set the bar, set the default setting at a new level. So when I'm not there, yes, it's okay, but there's something happening, and it needs space, time, contemplation, therapy, movement. It needs some sort of medicine. Even if it's just acceptance and welcoming in for tea and saying, okay, teach me sadness, teach me frustration. What are you here to show me? And listening. Or whether it's not getting caught up in the story of it, not sitting it down for tea and just moving my body and feeling better, and feeling like I didn't have to feed into the story of it all. So those are things that now that's how I operate. Whereas I can recognize in the past, those would have been my standard MO, my default setting. And the joy would have been like, yeah, well, something amazing happened today. That's why I'm feeling joyful. Whereas now that's my default setting. But I want you to always remember that humility, that compassion, that empathy of we know what it's like to be the person that's under the influence of negativity or under the influence of forgetting, conditioning. And when we see another there, to remember that love and to see them as you. You're meeting God in a t-shirt, you're meeting God in human form. It's a holy, sacred encounter. And so you treat them with grace and love. And that is when you unlock all of those potentials I was mentioning of maybe sharing something with your brother or sister that could help them, or stepping into the role of a guide or a teacher, if that's your calling, or just being a good friend, being a good companion, being a beautiful fellow human that says, I recognize your suffering. I know what that feels like. I see you. And it's a beautiful thing when we can remember that an aspect of love is philanthropy. An aspect of love is humility and compassion. And it's not just loving and admiring and respecting those who are beautiful and perfect and make us feel great. It's everyone. How can you extend that to everyone? And remember what it's like to be the drunk person in the party who just doesn't know. Not yet. And also be gentle and patient with your journey. It can be challenging sometimes to be so sober and you just want others to feel it. It's so beautiful, it's so tasty, it's so exquisite. But you must remember what it's like to be drunk. You don't really know you are. And so sometimes one of the most kind ways to guide someone like that is to just be in front of them. Bring your joy in front of them, respecting and honoring your own boundaries and space as you need it, and let them come to you. Let them ask you. And you may find there's much more openness in that being than there would be in, hey, drunk person, I'm telling you, life is amazing. Sit down with me, come to lunch with me, I'll tell you all the ways. And sort of force feeding it down them. There's less and less space in someone when they are feeling critiqued, criticized, or like a fixer upper. Love teaches. Love holds space. Love has infinite amount of timelessness which is the city of patience. And if we look at the shadow of impatience, timelessness is the complete evolution of impatience. And so have that for yourself, have that for others. Be the joy, be the love, be the sobriety in front of them, the presence, and let them come to you. And when they do, you don't have to tell them, I told you so, or tried to get your attention before. And you welcome them, you hold them, say, welcome. Let's have some fun. It's beautiful. I love you all. I'll see you tomorrow. As one of my favorite human design YouTubers says, I'll see you soon for something completely and totally different. And that's starting to feel like my theme as well. So I'll see you tomorrow, and we'll probably be talking about something completely different or potentially the same. Let's see. Love you.